On this video, I'm going to let y'all know how my first therapy session went, what they told me, and how it's kind of a dope metaphor for life. Stay tuned. Hey, yo, what's going on? My name is Ruslan, hip-hop artist, creative entrepreneur with kingsdreament.com. Man, this channel exists to encourage, empower, inspire people to live out God's dream for their life. And so we kind of cover a wide array of topics, primarily focused on music and that sort of thing, marketing. Lately, we've kind of taken a shift on the channel, if you will. Loom Hip Hop a couple weeks ago declared me one of the new OGs of CHH, if you will. And so with that, I've kind of been pressing into some of that content. It's been dope. We've had Belief on the channel talking about why he left CHH. We have my man Joseph Solomon on talking about when your theology fails you. Preston Perry. The content has been dope, and it's all kind of culminated to me doing last week's video, which was a video about when to ask for help. And I talked about how I was leaving church, and based on some personal experiences I've had, based on some things I was kind of wrestling with internally, if you will, I knew that, man, God's been great to me. I've been doing amazing in terms of, pressing into Jesus and building a family and building multiple businesses and all that kind of stuff. But I knew that there was something unsettled and something that I needed to seek help with from a therapist. And considering that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I thought, man, what a good time would it be? So you can check out that video last week. In this video, I'm going to actually tell you guys what the therapist said and how it actually directly ties into some other health issues I've been having and how I think it's just an overall dope metaphor for life. So I'm gonna need you to stay tuned till the end of the video because it's important. It's gonna be good. Now, check it out. May 31st, I need your help. I'm not too ashamed to ask for it. I need your help. We got a new album coming out. Indie Jones 3 is coming out May 31st. This is the third installment of my Indie Jones series. And if you aren't familiar with who I am as an artist, that's fine. This is actually a great introduction that as I took this men's skills class where I did a lot of reflecting and growing in self-awareness, the music really kind of tells the story in a unique way. And so I think this is some of my best work. And here's the deal. I need you guys to support it. What we're doing is everybody who pre-orders it gets the album early. That's right. You get the album early. It doesn't come out till May 31st, but you get it early by either one, pre-ordering it on iTunes and sending me a screenshot to my Instagram handle, which is right here in the video below. Boom, send me a screenshot of your pre-order on iTunes. I think Amazon has pre-orders as well. You can get it there. Or better yet, if you're really trying to support, you really trying to be down for the cause, pre-order on the website. We got some really dope merch packages. I'm going to show you those right now. Boom, we got indie shirts. Digital copy of the album early advance with an indie shirt, $24, including free USPS 2-day shipping. You could either pick the indie design or you could pick this BAM outlier design. And we also have hoodies, $39, including free shipping with a signed physical CD for $39. So you could pick that up and you get the album immediately upon ordering it. And so I'm an independent artist, so your support really does help. And if you want to go even a step above and beyond, consider signing up for our Patreon community. It's super dope. There's a really cool thing happening there in terms of the Zoom calls that we do on Sunday nights where we get to chop it up about whatever people are going through. There's also a way to cut the line for Fan Love Friday, get your music reviewed, and discount codes for all this. So the bottom tier comes with a 30% discount code on all merchandise. I think the $9 tier, which is where you get the album early, $9 and $10 tier, that comes with a 40% discount. And it's just a lot of really cool stuff on there, man. Consider becoming a patron because that really does help us independent creatives to put out better and more content for you guys. So we do appreciate it. Now, what you're all been waiting for, looking for the deets of how my therapy session went. Like I said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I thought what better way to talk about this kind of stuff and kind of just live it out real time. And so I grew up with a good amount of trauma in my childhood. And it's funny, I talked to my mom about it. My mom dismissed my trauma as drama, which is really interesting when it comes to mental health stuff. And so I knew that there was something discontent, something off. I knew I wasn't depressed. I knew I didn't have, any specific like anxiety disorder or anything like that, but I just knew there was something off. And so I decided to go to the therapist, and the therapist gave me some kind of shocking information once you put a name to what it is you've been going through. But before that, I kind of wanted to go into what my doctor told me after I had knee surgery. So I went to my first therapy session on Monday. I think that's when I dropped that video. And then the very next day, I had my knee surgery because a while ago, I too had trauma in my knee from an ACL, MCL reconstructive surgery. And basically what happened was it didn't heal correctly. I didn't rehab it correctly. And in that, I got these things called Cyclops lesion. And so I'm going to show you guys a video of my doctor actually breaking it down for you guys and talk about it a little bit and how this actually directly ties into what I found out from my therapist. So check it out.
This was your lesion in the front of your knee called your Cyclops lesion. We have some better views of that, but this is kind of in front of your ACL. There's a lot of scar tissue built up there. So we were kind of getting around it. This is another view of your trochlea, showing somewhere that kind of lack of cartilage I would like to see. But this is that Cyclops area, that right over there in the front part of your knee. This is part of it after we're starting to excise it.
All right, so basically, Cyclops lesion is when you have reconstructive surgery on your ACL and your MCL, which is your two ligaments that give you the side lateral movement when you're playing basketball, when you're cutting, right? It's like, for some people, could even be considered a career-ending injury. I tore my ACL, MCL playing basketball. It was about 13 years ago. Had the surgery. Apparently what happened was I didn't rehab it right, and I developed extra scar tissue in my knee where I couldn't fully extend my knee. I could play sports and I could do other stuff, but it would swell up. I would have these weird flare-ups every now and then. And so I knew that something wasn't right because I was playing basketball maybe 2 or 3 times a week in the fall. And one time it just completely locked up and I couldn't really walk the same. And I was like, man, something's off. Went and got an MRI, got it tested. And the doctor was like, look, here's the deal. This is called Cyclops lesion. You have this extra scar tissue. That's what you saw in that video. And so they went through, they cleaned all the scar tissue out from the trauma initially that didn't heal right. And they also went through and cleaned up my meniscus. And so I think that's an interesting metaphor because what I found out in my therapy session, which was interesting, on my way there, I was driving there. I called Monday. They were able to get me in same day, like an hour later. And like, yeah, we can get you in for an intake appointment. And I was like, man, that's actually really cool. So I'm on my way there. I'm excited. I'm driving. I'm like, man, this is great. I can work through my issues. I could figure out what's wrong and gain some better coping mechanisms, which I had already got from my men's skills. But I thought, man, sitting down with a professional, this is going to be really good. So on my way there, I'm super excited. And I go in and they sit down, they ask you a lot of questions. It's an intake appointment. So it's not like you're not really going to get that one-on-one therapy time with the session with the therapist per se. You're going to just talk through all the different possible things that happen in your life, from physical trauma, mental trauma, emotional trauma, sexual trauma. And so as I'm answering off these questions, I'm like, man, I got a good amount of trauma, and it's taking me back to some of these things. And I'm not going to get into the specific trauma. If you want to hear what trauma I've actually experienced, you can go listen to my Americana album. But there's a lot there. And if you know some of my story, you kind of can gauge what I'm talking about. And so I was like, yo, there's a lot of stuff that I've endured and I've gone through that feels normal, but isn't really normal. And so after all that, what she diagnosed me with, I almost want to do a drum roll, but that would be super cheesy, is basically she said that you have chronic PTSD. It's like, PTSD? That sounds crazy. And PTSD is something that you hear that people are coming back from war, people that, have a lot of people that come from the street life and have seen a lot of violence, post-traumatic stress disorder. So after a traumatic event, you have trouble dealing with stress. And a lot of people have this, and you act it out in different ways. And basically, what I discovered was I don't do well with stress and with interpersonal conflict because a lot of my trauma is related to personal people being close to me. hurting me and having that trauma affect me. And in the same way that my knee, I thought was healed because I had a surgery a while ago, is in the same way I thought, okay, me coming to the faith, me believing in Jesus was going to, it did, it wasn't going to, it gave me a new heart, gave me a new life, gave me a new perspective. All that stuff was amazing. But in that, I still feel like I didn't heal properly. I didn't deal with some of the trauma. I never really sat down. I got a lot of counseling. In counseling, they say counseling is described as helping you know what to do, while therapy helps you understand why you are the way you are. And I was like, man, this is really interesting in that my knee has this cyclops lesion, which is a byproduct of not healing properly from trauma. And then internally, I have a post-traumatic stress disorder. So on my way home, I definitely didn't feel as up. I didn't feel as encouraged. I was like, man, it's something about when somebody puts a name on it, right? When somebody tells you, oh, you got this and you got that or whatever. And so I'm going to be dealing with it. I'm going to be figuring out ways to cope. I'm going to be figuring out ways to press into conflict and interpersonal conversations in a healthy way. And I'm excited, but it was kind of a downer where I found that news out. And then right after that, I had knee surgery. And it really literally just knocked me off my feet for a week. I think I worked once or twice within the last week, which was great, which was actually really good for me. I've been having trouble issues with OBS. So if you've seen some of the videos and the audio sync has been off, it's almost like a blessing in disguise because I was so frustrated. I wanted to make this video. I wanted to talk about what's going on with me, and I wasn't able to. But I needed that time off. I needed that rest. I needed to just take a week and not do a whole lot of anything. And yesterday was my first day back in the gym. Today I went to rehab for my knee. And so I'm feeling much better. I don't got to take any pain medication. I'm going to do a whole documentary about the knee surgery process that'll probably come out in June sometime. It's going to be a bit more extensive and cover some other stuff. But it was good. And again, I have to send a huge shout out to all the patrons, because growing that platform where people can give a monthly contribution allowed me and my family to be able to take a week off to just kind of just refocus and settle down and not feel like I got to go. Cause I went from Indy Jones 3 to go. And now I got a bunch of travel coming up. So this was perfect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm excited to get back to work. I'm excited to get this music out to you guys. May 31st, Indy Jones 3. Pre-order that, man. If you can, pre-order that on iTunes. Send me a screenshot on Instagram. Pre-order it on the website, kingsdreament.com/store. And I guess as a final thought, and I do want to hear from you guys in the comment section, is, are you dealing and addressing with all the possible issues that you may have going on? And are there some traumatic things that you're just kind of brushing off and thinking, I already took care of that? But it might actually be something more serious. It might actually be getting in the way of your mobility in the same way my knee was getting in the way. And I didn't know, and I could still kind of push through it and I could still play ball, but I knew ultimately that I wasn't all right. And again, with Mental Health Awareness Month, we have to know that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Do you guys relate to this? Anybody else dealing with PTSD? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll be making more videos about this. Appreciate y'all.